And there'll be 3 races from Newbury tomorrow on Grandstand. The feature race is the Castrol St Simon Stakes. That's a Group 3 race. Well, after the news, more Grand Prix quarter-final snooker to fit in, and I look forward to tomorrow's great sporting occasion at Wembley, the Rugby League World Cup final. Great Britain against Australia. Ray French will be joining me for a natter.
British Airways is taking over the troubled airline Dan Air. Up to 1,600 jobs will be lost, and Dan Air's money-losing charter business will be closed down.
Dan Air's been involved in rescue talks with different bidders for weeks, and now Britain's second biggest airline is to become a wholly owned British Airways subsidiary. Only 12 of its 38 airliners will be retained, and only between 400 and 600 jobs saved. The Civil Aviation Authority said the deal raised serious issues of competition. Rival airlines feel the same way.
We have already had meetings with the European Commission in Brussels, and we have made representations in writing to the Office of Fair Trading and to the Department of Transport, and we shall be seeking the most vigorous scrutiny of any transaction between Dan Air and British Airways.
Although some Dan Air jobs have been saved, the deal's likely to go to the European Commission.
Some of Britain's most famous hospitals face closure after an inquiry into healthcare in London. The Tomlinson report says that several teaching hospitals should close, including St Bartholomew's and Charing Cross. It also recommends merging St Thomas's with Guy's.
The report says that too many resources are being channelled into hospitals like Bart's, and that by reducing the number of hospitals, money can go into community healthcare and hospitals outside London instead. The Health Secretary says the service in the capital is simply inefficient.
With nearly twice as many consultants per head, very many more beds per head, 20% more spent on acute care, the figures are all wrong.
But Mrs Bottomley has implicated health unions, who claim that up to 20,000 jobs could be lost.
She is a vulture pecking at the bones of London's hospitals. It is a disaster and it must be stopped.
A decision on the cuts will be announced in the new year. The Health Secretary says before then there'll be a full consultation exercise, which will include those who work in the health service.
3 senior French health officials have been convicted of criminal negligence over the infection of more than 1,000 haemophiliacs with the AIDS virus. They include Dr. Jean-Pierre Alain, who's now the director of East Anglia's blood transfusion service. He's stepping down pending an inquiry.
During the trial, it was claimed that Michel Garetta, head of the National Blood Transfusion Service, and his co-defendants had allowed haemophiliacs to be treated with blood they knew to have been contaminated by the AIDS virus. The motive was financial. Replacing contaminated stocks of blood would have been expensive, and they preferred to wait for the development of a French system for treating blood rather than buy an existing American one. Garetta's former deputy, Jean-Pierre Alain, was sentenced to 2 years. Outside demonstrators showed their anger that the men had not been charged with offences more serious than those they faced, fraud and negligence, and had received longer sentences.
And that's it for now. More news at 6 o'clock on BBC1.
Good afternoon. It looks as if it's going to stay fairly cold and windy in the next few days, most of us having some rain from time to time as well. Just look at this at the moment. This is the radar. Showers scattered around just about over the whole country. Eastern Scotland, though, staying, generally speaking, in the clear. But some of those showers are going to be quite heavy in the next few hours, some hail and thunder, some sleet and snow. That's more likely over the hills. Those showers tonight will continue in the west. They'll be heaviest near to those western coasts. But in central and eastern areas, it'll become dry, the skies will clear, and it'll end up fairly chilly, I think. There'll be a touch of ground frost in southern areas where you get some shelter, and an air frost there in eastern Scotland. Tomorrow the mixture as before, just like today really, sunshine and showers again, some of them heavy and blustery in western areas. Not so many showers though getting through to the more eastern parts, and that's all for now.
This is BBC2. Now, North News with Mike Neville.
Good afternoon. The last coal has been mined at Vane Tempest Colliery in Seaham. It was only confirmed yesterday that production was ending, despite the government's 3-month review period. David Morrison reports.
Dawn over Vane Tempest on the day the men never wanted to see. British Coal has ordered mining to end at the pit 147 years after the first shaft was sunk. The last production shift went into the pit at 7 o'clock. The mood of the men, bitter resignation.
I've got a wife, 1 child, and My wife's expecting now. I've got a mortgage. And the job prospects are nil. It's not coal heaps I want now, man. It's dole heaps.
Deeply sad. You know, it's a bad day for Britain, isn't it?
British Coal says the men will still get full redundancy pay, even though production is ending today. But they'll have to sign on at the mine for work every day for the next 3 months.
Hundreds of people turned out to demonstrate at Easington Colliery. Miners, villagers and other supporters prayed with the Bishop of Durham for the future of their pit. They marched to the pit gates carrying the colliery banner, where the bishop led prayers along with the auxiliary bishop for Hexham and Newcastle. Easington was due to close, but has been reprieved by the government review of energy policy. Fishermen in Whitby blockaded the town's harbour for 4 hours this morning. It was in protest at the Fish Conservation Bill, which they say could tie their boats up for up to 5 months of the year. The fishermen are acting in breach of a court injunction obtained by Scarborough Council. They say they realise it's illegal, but felt they had to do something. The new bill is being discussed by the House of Lords on Monday. Fishermen say every man fishing supports at least 5 jobs on the shore. They claim their jobs are as threatened as those in mining. Cleveland police are questioning 2 men after a man died from stab wounds outside a pub in Stockton. And police in Newcastle are investigating the stabbing of a 23-year-old woman. She was found at a house in Beach Green last night. Football. Sunderland striker John Byrne is expected to sign for First Division Millwall today. Byrne, who scored in every round of the Cup last season, will sell for nearly £250,000. Newcastle striker David Kelly won't play for the next 2 weeks. He was injured this morning during training. A look at the weather forecast. Any showers will die out, leaving the night dry and clear, with temperatures down to about 2 Celsius, 36 Fahrenheit, and there'll be a touch of ground frost. That's all for now. Look north, BBC1, 6:30. Good afternoon.
We're going to have a concert party to boost the men's morale.
A concert party? Well, hurrah!
A showbiz opportunity and a new recruit for Captain Blackadder.
Driver Parkhurst reporting for duty, sir.
All right, at ease, Bob. Stand easy. Captain Blackadder, this is Bob. Bob?
Brings one revelation after another.
It's in my blood and in my soul. Baldrick, put those in some water, will you?
Yes, sir.